Hey, it's Ronnie. It's Valentine's morning, about 10 o'clock. I don't have a Valentine, and it's too cold outside to go play. It's minus 14 here in America. Temperature Frankenstein. That would be, if you're on the metric system, that would be about minus 26 calculus. And I'll tell you a secret on how to figure out if you know your Fahrenheit or your Frankenstein or your Fahrenheit, your calculus, Celsius, how to figure out the temperature in your head. Okay, make it simple. 32 degrees is freezing water in Fahrenheit. 0 degrees is freezing water in Celsius. And boiling is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Water boiling is 100 degrees the metric Celsius. And if you can figure out in your head, if you have either number, you can basically figure out the temperature in the other one. Say it's Fahrenheit minus 15. Basically, you take the number from 32, add that to minus 15, which the differential there, because 32 is freezing, would be, let's see, 32 and 15 would be 47 degrees, say 46. Divide that by 2, because Celsius is about 50%, give or take, off of the freezing temp of Fahrenheit, right? 100 to 212. So that's your distance. So basically, yeah, it's minus 15 plus 32 degrees, because it's above 0, 32 degrees. That would be 47, say 46, divided by 2 would be 23, and it's actually about 25.7 Celsius. So there you go, if you ever need to know the metric system. Just off the top of your head. Same way, if it's warmer, you go from 32 degrees, say it's 82, okay? And you're going from 32, it's freezing, would be 0 Celsius, 82 would be 50 degrees difference, so you cut that in half, that would be roughly 25 degrees Celsius above 0. Got it? Okay, but yeah, beans, I got a dilemma here. Well, I drank too much coffee today in the morning. I have a dilemma. It's so cold. I still never got to my video about to show you about furnace stuff yet. Got another project that's been chapping my butt. A new toilet. A new toilet, and the problem is, it's one of the water saver ones, and you can't really cheat. The old ones you could cheat, take this float and adjust it so it fills the tank up a lot higher. But this one's got a little short tube, and that's your overflow tube. If you go over that amount, it just starts running down your drain, and all that water just keeps running, and it ain't doing nothing. So I was like, wow, I really don't want to buy a new flapper and change that whole tube to a taller tube up to here, which would give me another half a gallon of water, because I'm not getting enough water in the bottom of the toilet. It's just not enough. Toilet paper hangs up on the sides and stuff, but I got tired of it. Well, I just started snooping around. I'm going to fix that. Here's what it's going to take. This is, I believe, 600 volt electrical silicone self-vulcanizing tape, which means you take it and stretch it out and wrap it around something and mush it together, and it melts together to form one big chunk. This stuff is wonderful, fixing like garden hoses, leaks on pipes, electrical hoses. I fixed my airbed with it where the hose connectors are, and that's what that is. What this is, I believe it's 3/4 inch automotive heater hose under the hood. And the idea is I was going to take this and put it inside that tube. I'm going to extend that tube up. But there's a problem. If you see here, my hose don't fit tight. Okay, so that'll leak water down in there. So to snug it up, I took that self-vulcanizing tape and wrapped that around there to fill in the gap fairly well. You get my drift, see? See how that stretches and gets tight, and it melts together at room temperature. It basically, you try to peel that off in 20 minutes. You got to split it, and it'll come off in one piece. It will not be able to peel off like that cheap vinyl electrical tape. So what I'm going to do, I got that about the gap filled. I'm going to take that this way, put it in the tube, but to make sure it's sealed correctly, A little silicone. It's just water. You can just use 100% silicone. It ain't oil or nothing. It's not going to hurt it. Just to make sure it seals up. So if the water level is above that pipe and up around this tube, which I'll show you later, then you won't be running down my drain and wasting water all the time. Because that's not good either. But, you know, and that way I can set the float up to basically another 2 inches. I have this much travel. I check. That's where you adjust it, that little screw thing. All that threads, I can raise that float up. That's a good 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. That'll give me that much deeper water. It means that much water in a tank, which means that much more water in a toilet bowl, too, the way it sets up. The more in a tank, the more deeper the water is in the toilet bowl. Okay, here you go. I'm not going to go into all the physics on that either, but I know how to do it. So that's the idea. So now I got to put the silicone on this. So I got to put my phone in my little chunky holder here quick. I said, it's just this simple, kid. You just got to think out of the box. I'm not going to town and buying a whole new tube set up for 20 bucks. So I'm just going to smear silicone carney around here. This tube, I should have cut the hole a little bigger, but I use it for some of my quadcopter projects because it's sticky. So I put a layer of that on the carbon frames where the battery rides underneath or on top so it doesn't slide around under the strap. So all I'm doing is smearing silicone carney around here, right? Oh man. Ugh. Should have cut that hole a little bigger. Too late now, I'm already into the project. Squishy little dab. Bigger the gob, the better job, as they have on YouTube says. But that's what I'm doing. Smearing that around there. It's not rocket science. It don't have to be awesomely perfect because it's going to poof out around the top when I push it in anyway. Now all you need is a hole for that water to drain out. That is the emergency overflow if your float does not shut off when it hits the top, so you don't flood your whole bathroom. So I can't go any deeper than it was right now because then it just runs down the drain. Even though I got 1.5 inches, I could go deeper with the float system on it. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, we're going to call that good. Now, let's see if I can get this pushed in there. Oh, here's a trick too. The silicone. If you want it smooth out after you're done, you dip your finger in it, then wipe your finger around it with wet water or water with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol so it evaporates. If you're doing stuff around your sinks and stuff like that white silicone, see how pretty that is? I did all that when I first got the house. You put your bead down and then you spray it with a mixture of water and about 50-50 just rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle and spray it. Then you take your finger and wipe it, and then it doesn't drag and it comes out real nice and pretty. Alright, I'm going to have to swap hands with my phone. Yeah, that's me right there. Alright, here we're going to see if we can work this puppy down in there now. Get a view at that. Come on. There we go. Okay. You don't want to push too far and drop it down. You have to fish it out with a coat hanger or something. Now I'm going to take and smear that silicone. Get my finger wet up here. And push that silicone in all the way around there to make a seal on that rubber. I did rough up that hose being it's rubbery on the outside and kind of shiny with a scuff pad where the silicone and tape is just to make sure it sticks. But okay, there I got the silicone smeared out. Fairly nice. I said there's no pressure really here. It just don't want it to run past. And that black silicone, if I would have wrapped it one more wrap and stuffed it in there, it would have stuck to the inside too with that tape. But this is easier. If you have a piece of garden hose, rubber, anything, inside, outside. Oh, now I gotta wipe my finger off. Hang on. Luckily I'm in the bathroom. You get goop on your finger, wipe it off right away. There you go. Okay, and then that hose sits on top. I'm not going to disturb that. I'm not going to flush it for an hour or so. It says this stuff is water rain tight in 30 minutes on the deal, but I'm not going to believe it. And then you just take this as your fill deal. It was a little tighter because of that plastic. I just pried that out with a screwdriver, real gentle. You know, it'll flex out and it'll still sit where it's supposed to. And then, okay, I said, that's where that bottom line down there, you can kind of see, that's where the water is at right now. I should have more water in the bowl when I'm done, and it will flush more water to flush stuff down the toilet, because even with this super big flusher at a time, sometimes it doesn't all go down at once, and you got to flush it twice. So more water, more better in my book. I'm on my own well, and I don't really have to save water out here. Cool breeze. Alright, I'll get back to you and show you. After I get it set up, I'll adjust that float, but I got to let that all dry and set up first. Then I'm going to set up the float tall as it'll go without running down, which I should be able to get close to about here. And we'll see what happens, yeah? Okay, man. Yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll spice this one together too, you know, the old jump cut. You think out of the box. It'll work. Peace. Love. Have a heart. Yeah, simple stuff laying around the house. Well, for me, but yeah, you can buy that stuff at Walmart. Menards, I know Menards and stuff, Home Depot and Ace Hardware, stuff like that carries it. This is the handiest tape to have around the house, except for like a Gorilla tape and the regular Gorilla, and then the Gorilla clear tape. This stuff. Silicone, self-vulcanizing, high voltage electrical tape. It is awesome. Alright, man, I'll be back. I'll show you that hour or so. I'm not going to use this one. If I have to use the potty room, I'll use the other one. And I'll show you if my theory worked out or not, alright? Happy Valentine's Day! Woo! I'll be back. Ciao! Hey, this is Ronnie. I'm back. It's been a couple hours. That's where it's been adjusted. There's where the water level is in the toilet. I don't know if you can see that very well, but below that line, sometimes it rises up at that line depending on the barometric pressure outside. That changes the height of the water in your toilet. But now I'm going to flush it, and then I'm going to adjust it up as high as it'll go, which hopefully then the water level will come up in here somewhere, and the float's right here, and adjust that. You just turn this set screw. But I'm going to flush it. And I'm going to adjust that set screw here. Turn that all the way up. She's kind of hanging on me here. Come on, you little bugger. There, she's cooperating a little better. That is maxed out the height right there. It'll take a minute or two here. And the float comes up. And then supposedly does that. And that shuts off the water, see? That's just the carrier housing. See that? Down, up is off. Let her flow all the way back up. We'll see how far it goes. So that's about the water line you can see right here. And it was just under the edge here, a little ways. So we'll see if we get more water, which we get more flushy action. Yeah, how to very simply take a water-saving toilet and make it a little less water-saving. So it flushes. Yeah, it's about as fun as watching the paint dry, eh? Well, if I hold this down, yeah, that's fast she's going to run, I guess. See how far it comes up here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, if you got your own home and you want to change your toilet a little bit, you pay the water, yeah. Here's a way to do it without having to replace the whole thing, because this toilet's only 4 or 5, I believe 4 or 5 freaking, wow, that thing is shutting off. That's all I'm going to get more. Well, let's see. She's a little sticky in the floatsy here. Oh, I got an inch more water in there before the float bottomed out, the little weasels, and there's, oh, hey. I wonder if this is an adjustable slide float. Oh, it won't let me slide it up any farther. Sometimes those will scoot up. That must be as high as it goes to save water. Well, we'll see if it does any better here. Oh, we gained a ½ inch of water in the bottom. I'm just curious to see how well it flushes. Oh, that made a little bit of a difference, boys. Oh, I might have to tinker with that. If I could find the brand name on this float and see how that slides up. I might be able to raise it up higher yet. Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Most of them, like I said, this whole system will slide up from down here up on this shaft, but this one might be topped out all the way. I feel a little cog down in there. I don't know if you have to push it. I'm going to look up the making number on this, and if I find anything different, I'll let you know. See if it'll go up any higher yet. The higher it goes up, the more water I get in the bowl, the better the flush I get. Now my hand's all wet. Alright, well there you go. I'll shear out.